Release the Kraken!
Alright, welcome back, fellow game designers. Ron here at Lame Duck Studios. And in this tutorial, we're going to be taking care of the elf's pants. Now, full disclosure, I actually ended up doing this, and I ended up finishing the tutorial series and then realized that this particular episode got damaged somehow. So, if you look at the elf, some things are finished, like the tunic and stuff. So if it seems out of place, don't worry. But from this video forward, there might be some incongruencies, just so that you're aware. But no worries, things happen. We're not going to be working on the tunic this video, but we are going to be working on the pants because they're pretty quick to do. So, without further delay, okay, so before I continue, I want to go ahead and remove the current paint layers that I have. So like I said, I'm a bit ahead of you, so I'm going to go over here and I'm just going to remove my belt buckle, my pants, my buckle, and my belt layers if you happen to have those. You probably don't, but just in case. For some of you this will be very confusing, but it's okay. I'm removing the pants, the belt buckle, and the belt. And I'll be starting from here. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the pants first. That's going to take the least amount of time. I'm going to come over to my layers, add a new paint layer. I will call this one Pants. 2048, Targa, and Diffuse. Set that in. That'll pop in as our top layer there. Hey. And I'm going to pick a color for the pants. So color. And you can see I already have some swatches up here already made. I'm going to use this light brown if you want to see the numeric values for that. They are here. Here's my RGB values. But I just kind of arbitrarily picked a brown. Alright. Now since most of the pants are pretty easy, I'm just going to go ahead and just start filling it in. So I'm going to hold down the B key, get a nice brush, and just start painting the pants. You see what I mean, that this is going to be pretty quick because most of the pants, nothing special happens, so it's just one solid color. Make sure I get in here, between the legs here. I'm not going to worry too much about down here on the boots. We're going to clean that up in the next video. But right here on the belt and belt buckle, this is where I want to take some care. So along the edge of the belt, I'm going to come up under here. Just be very precise. And then for the belt loops, I'm going to take that up. Now you can see that my belt is textured. I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. The upside to doing the video over is I can do it quicker. If you find yourself going outside the lines or covering too much, you can always take the erase brush and then very gently erase. And you can see as I erase, I'm using the edge of the circle here. I'm not going into the middle because that would take the center. So I'm using the edge of the brush. Grab my color. Sorry that I'm a bit silent on these parts. This is really when you put on like a podcast or a piece of music, because there's not really anything technical going on for a lot of this. It's just tedious. Go through, paint a little bit. Now, of course, up here for the top of the pants, If you want to, go ahead and fill that in. I actually don't fill this in until much later. I actually did it off camera. But if you want to see it, just to be kind of consistent or inconsistent, because I didn't do this in the next video, I happen to do this off camera, but this part of the pants would be up higher. Like so. Kind of makes them look like he's got high waters or something. Again, when you jump to the next video, you will not see this upper part of the pants. I didn't do this until much later. But there we go. So it's a very quick painting of the pants and the belt loop. And now I'm going to do the actual belt. So create a new layer. I'm going to call this belt. And now I'm going to take my other brown. So in here, I'm going to grab my dark brown. Now all I did for the dark brown is I really took this one and then I just pulled it up to a darker shade. But there's the RGB value. 86, 60, and 35 if you want to match the same. Now to get this textured pattern, what I did is I used projection mapping. Or in this case, one of my stencils. So I'm going to come over to Google, and you can say I have in my search bar brown leather, and I just picked one of these that I liked. So go ahead and right click and then copy. Come over to Photoshop, create new, and you can see we have an option to paste or create from clipboard. So go ahead and do that, create, and then I'm going to paste, Control V. That's Control V as in Victor. And then save this out as a PNG file. So save as, and then PNG. I'll call this brown leather. Hop back into Mudbox. And now that stencil can be loaded here. Now you can see I have my stencils from previous. But I'll go ahead and load this one in. So you can load it as a stamp or a stencil. Either is fine. But they do different things. And the one I actually used on here was a stencil. So I'm going to, a stamp. And the difference between a stamp and a stencil is a stamp is part of your brush as you paint. As you sculpt, you need to have sculpting tools. Grab the sculpting tool, grab sculpt, turn the stencil on, and then that will be part of your screen, and as you paint, it applies that material. But it applies it to the geometry. See that? And then a stencil, I keep saying the wrong thing. So a stencil is in the screen, a stamp. If I change that, I'll turn the stencil off. And then a stamp is part of your brush. So if I take that and then I paint, that'll be inside the brush itself. Okay. So whichever one you want to use is up to you. But to load one in, there's a little triangle right here. If you hit that, you can add a stamp. And you can pick your picture. And if you want to do it as a stencil, you can do the same thing. Add stencil, pick it, and then load it in. So I already have some loaded. And this is the one that I used for this. And then you just hold it into frame. For this, make sure you're on sculpting. Pick a brush that you like. Adjust your brush settings. So click on that. Adjust them. If you have any stamps on that you don't want, make sure they're off. And then paint away. Now the reason you want to have your strength kind of low is you can see as I do that on the stamp, it kind of bubbles it out. Or as I do that on the belt, it kind of bubbles. So your strength will matter about how much, I'm going to go ahead and do this here, how much this kind of bloats. And you can see it's not going to let me paint here because I don't have this in the frame. So when I put that in frame and I do that, now it'll go. Right? So that's what I did to go around and texture my belt. So go in between all of these, add the texture as you like. I already have texture applied, so I'm not going to do that again. But again, you can do this. I'll go ahead and turn this one off. Oops. Can also do that as a stamp. I can load it in, choose my stamp. Which one? That one. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong format. Grab this one. There we go. And as I paint this one, voila. So this is painting directly with the brush. The stencil is painting from a picture in the screen. Now from a stencil, you can change the stencil by holding down the S key, and then you can right click to change its size. You can left click to rotate, and then you can middle mouse click to move it around. And that's by holding the S key and then clicking middle mouse click or right click on the stencil. Okay. Now once again, I don't need the stencil because I've already done this, but you're welcome to go through and do that. I'm going to go back to painting, grab my paint tools, choose my dark brown, make sure I'm on my belt layer, and now I'm going to paint my belt color. Now check this out, because I have my layers, if I paint over, you're like, oh no, but my belt actually should be underneath my pants, right? It goes below the belt loops. So if I pull this down to below the pants, voila. Now I can paint sort of outside the lines, and it's perfect. And what's nice about having that texture on there is it shows up with that color. It looks kind of like leather. That's the whole point. Now you can see down here, because the way the layers are stacked, the pants are kind of overlapping the brown here. So I'll just take my pants layer, grab my erase brush, adjust my brush size, and just very carefully erase where the pants should not be. Right, because that should be under the belt. And you'll want to go around and do that for the top and the bottom. Make sure that you don't have any extra areas. Make sure it's nice and clean. Do all the big stuff first, and then go back and do all the little stuff. Fine tuning. Okay, that's all cleaned up. Now we'll do the belt buckle. So new layer, call this buckle. And I'll choose the gold color that I had, so grab my brush, color, pick my gold color. It's 209, 172, 156, in case you want my particular gold color. And then paint the buckle. Try to be a little bit precise as I get toward the edge here. Adjust my brush size, get underneath the buckle. Now this is that kind of stuff that you're not really going to see all that much, but in the event that he bends over or he gets knocked down, you want to have it look pretty convincing from all angles. Alright, and there we have it. So in the next video we're going to go ahead and take care of the tunic. You can see we have this design added on. We'll do this in the next one, add some color, and we'll take care of the boots. Okay, go ahead and save it, and then I will see you in the next one.